Hello, Professor Morgan here with some advice and some guidance when it comes to constructive feedback. So, when I tell people what I do for a living, that I teach English and creative writing, I had one person tell me, say, "Oh, so you make people cry for a living?" I'm like, "Oh, that's that's a little harsh, because sometimes I guess the idea is that English professors or creative writing professors are very, mean and say that nothing's good enough and whatever. So there are ways that we can provide information to others, including like when we have to do peer reviews and stuff that some better impacts and results than others. So let's take a look at this. All right. So constructive feedback. You should ask for feedback. It is something that should happen. In creative writing, when I write a book, I always make sure that I have beta readers read through the book and give me feedback to make sure that there's things that I, you know, may have missed that may be in my head that never made it to the page, or they can see things that I can't see. This also works with, writing any kind of paper that you have to do for, gosh, a job or for school. It's always helpful to get an extra pair of eyes to look at that, okay? And we want to do it constructively. So here's an example of what not to do, okay? So if someone sends you something for feedback and your reply is awesome, wouldn't change a thing. Well, that's nice, and often people do that because um, they just want to be nice and validate the other person, or B, uh, they are just don't really want to go to the time and effort to give constructive feedback. Or C, they really think that there's nothing wrong. Well, stuff can always be improved. There can always be some recommendations and maybe just some questions for people to think about. So if you're just going to give nothing but positive feedback, that's great. But I mean, again, that's not really the point of constructive feedback. Is there needs to be a balance of positive feedback and constructive feedback. Okay, and here's also something else not to do, is to be too forceful in your feedback when you're being giving critical feedback. Now, when I look at this picture here, this individual here seems to be letting this individual here trying, giving them some feedback. This individual here, yeah, not really digging what's going on here. Like, talk to the hand, right? So if we're overly critical or we're overly harsh or we use strong, too strong language, then sometimes people can get distracted by how we're saying stuff and not what we're saying, and actually listen to maybe what we're trying to do to help them. Okay, so here's a good tip when it comes to revising. It's a simple word, okay? This is a big deal. And. And? Really? Constructive feedback and you're giving me the word and? That's the tip? Yeah, let me explain why, okay? So let's say I'm giving feedback to a student and I write, in the dialogue of your story, you demonstrated the ability to use it as a tool for character development, and dialogue can also be used to provide exposition. Okay, and then I could say, I suggest referring to the craft element guide provided by the school for more information on dialogue and how it can help you. Okay, so here I'm using the word and, okay, and also I'm using the word I suggest. Now let's look at it done a different way, okay? In the dialogue of your story, you demonstrated the ability to use it as a tool for character development, but dialogue can also be used to provide exposition. So there's something that I've learned that whenever people hear the word, but, it kind of eliminates everything that was said before. So if I were to say to my wife, wow, you look gorgeous tonight, as we're about to go on a date, and then I say, but are you really going to wear that dress? You think, how well do you think that's going to go over? Okay. Do you think she's really going to pay attention to the, hey, you look gorgeous tonight? Okay. Um, it's like, how could you, it's like, okay, how would I rephrase that about her dress? I'm not sure I would say anything about the dress. Anyway, but you could say, wow, you look really gorgeous tonight. And I think that, the red dress that you wore, a few weeks ago would look, great on you, but, you know, Yet, whatever you want to do, again, something like that, okay? But the difference between and but makes a big difference. Okay, now, also, like when we talked about getting into someone's face, um, you need to refer to the craft element guide to provided by the school for more information, as opposed to I suggest referring to. So this you need is very kind of aggressive, and people often don't like to be told what they need. It's one reason why I'm so anti using second person in argument papers and such, or like a compare contrast paper, for example, if someone, sometimes I'll have students in a compare contrast paper, let's say they're comparing going on a vacation between the beach and the mountains. And they're like, oh, when it comes to vacations, you love to go to the beach. You love to sit on the sand and you love to smell the salt in the air from the ocean. And I'm like, no, I don't. I hate going to the beach. I'm a redhead. I get sunburned. I don't need that info. I don't want. Don't tell me what I need. So even the phrasing here can make a big difference. So one of my one of my favorite sayings is So anyway, don't do this. This is not this is a better way of giving feedback as opposed to this. Yeah. Okay. So one of my favorite quotes is, you need to stop telling people what they need. Okay. I'm just going to let you think about that as we finish up. So there's some thoughts on doing constructive feedback. I hope this has been helpful. I know it's been helpful. I feel like it's been helpful. I hope you found something helpful from it that you'll be able to use. All right. Thank you so much.